Today we're gonna look at the accounting format in Excel, but if you are a real accountant, you will see that this format is not great. This is why if you have a specific scenario, you would need to use custom formatting. So I'm gonna show you also how to use custom formatting to create the specific format with currencies, with colors, and even symbols. Let's go.
Let's start with the accounting format, which is useful if you don't want to complicate your life or you are in a rush. So I'm just gonna select my data, and you can see I have a positive number, a negative one, a 0 and a text. Under home you have number. Let's click on this arrow and you can select accounting. You can specify the number of decimal places you want, and you can select a currency. For example, I'm gonna go for English Australia. Press OK and you get this. Now it's okay, but it's not great. One, you can see that we have a minus on this side, so some people will not see it and will think that this is a positive number. And two, a lot of accountants, they want to put brackets for negative numbers. So what do we do in this case? We move to custom formatting because this will give us the flexibility to have the format that we want. Now, before we do this, I'm just gonna show you a shortcut. So you can use Alt, you can see under home you have the H, so H. Then you will have AN. Why AN for accounting? I don't know. So you can type AN. And finally, you can select this. This is the shortcut. Now, let's go for the custom base. Here, I will use custom formatting to fix those problems. Now, let's go to the codes. And you will see here I have a 0 and a hash. A hash displays significant digits, and 0 will false digits. Now, it sounds gibberish, but let me explain to you with a simple example. So I'm just gonna come here and type 12. Now we're gonna change the format, so you know the drill. This is the arrow, and let's go to custom. Now if you see here, I can use a hash. Look at this sample. I put a hash so it will display the significant digits. So those are 1 and 2. If I add more hashes, nothing happens really. But now if I put a 0, it will force at least one digit. So here I have 2, so it will show 12. If I put 2, nothing happens, but if I add a third one, you can see that now I want the number to be 3 digits, so you get a 0 in front. Now let's just cancel this and use these concepts for my custom base. I'm just gonna select everything and go back to custom formatting. Here I need to define 4 formats. You might have guessed it, but the first format is for positive numbers, then you have a format for negative numbers, then the zeros, and finally the text. And you will separate this by a semicolon. So let's start with positive numbers. For example, if I add a hash, you will see that the decimals are gone from this number. It's okay for now. Let's continue with it. So I can just put this one, or if I want to see the commas, what I could do is the following. I can add here a comma, and then I can do hash, hash, and 0. What happens here? Well, I'm telling Excel I want at least 1 digit, so here I have more than 1 digit, no problem. And every 3 digits, I want to have a comma. This is why I'm adding all those hashes, and you can see in the sample the result. So this is for positive numbers. For negative numbers, I can do the same with a minus. So for example, minus hash, comma, hash, hash, 0. Now accountants, they like to put parentheses, as I said. So I'm just gonna add a parenthesis here and another one there. Let's use a semicolon. We have now the 0. I'm just gonna put a dash like this, and then semicolon for text. If I want to keep the text, I can use at. Now let's press OK, and you can see this is the result. Now you have here the parentheses, and the numbers are not aligned. If I want to align the numbers, I will show you a small trick. Let's go back to our codes, and here you will see you have underscore. The underscore will add a space. So let's use it. Let's go back. We click and we're gonna modify this. So for the second one, which is the negative one, I don't want to do anything. But for the positive one, I want to add a space that has a length that is equal to this parenthesis. So to do this, I'm just gonna add the underscore that you saw there, and I'm gonna add the parenthesis. That will tell the program that I want a space that is equal in length as the parenthesis. Now we can do the same here. So underscore parenthesis, and for the text, underscore parenthesis. The only place I didn't do it is for the negative numbers. Let's press OK, and now you can see everything is aligned. It looks much better. Let's do the same but add the decimals now. So I'm just gonna copy the numbers and put them here. You have the format. Let's click and go to custom formatting, and now it's super simple. The only thing I need to do is dot and put the number of decimals I want. So I'm gonna use the 0 because it will force decimals. So for example, 1 0, it will be 0.3. If I do 2 zeros, 0.30. We can do the same for this one. So dot 0 0. And for the 0, we don't need to do anything and the text will remain the same. So now if I press OK, you can see the result. I get the decimals. Let's go for currencies because accountants, they need to have the currency. So I'm just gonna copy this, put it here, and we go again, we start changing. So I want a US dollar, for example. I'm just gonna add it in front. I can add it also here in front. And for the other two, I don't need it. So let's press OK and you get a US dollar. However, this is ugly, right? I want the US dollar to be aligned here. So what do I do in this case? Again, we go back to the codes. Here I have the asterisk. Repeat following character until width of cell is filled. So let's try to use this one. How do we use it? Let's go here. And what I want to do is have a dollar sign, then asterisk, because I want to fill the cell with spaces. So after the asterisk, I'm gonna add one space. Now it will put the dollar sign, fill with spaces until you get the number. We can do the same here. So we can do asterisk and a space. For the text and the 0, I don't want to do anything. So let's press OK. And you can see now you have the dollar sign aligned to the left. So the asterisk, what it did, it added spaces until I have the number. And this is after the dollar sign. Let's try for colors. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V. And for colors, we're not gonna go to the code sheet, but we will go to colors. And here you have a lot of colors you can use. Some of them, they have names like red, white, black, etc. Some of them, they have numbers. So I'm gonna use color 10, this one, and I'm gonna use the red one. Let's go back. We're gonna go change the format. It's super simple. I just need to add the color before. So I have to put it in brackets. So first we're gonna use the green color, which is color 10. So color 10, I close the brackets. And here for the negative one, I'm gonna use red. So I can type red and I close the brackets. I press OK and you get the colors. Finally, you have the icons. So I'm just gonna copy paste this, put it here. And to get icons, what you could do is use Windows dot. There is also a shortcut for Mac. And you can select any of those, for example. Or you can just go to Insert. Under Insert, you will see Symbols. And you have Symbol. And you can select, for example, those arrows. So double click and then double click and close. Let's just cut this, Ctrl X, Escape. We're gonna select the data and then we go back to Home, Number. Under Number, you have this format. So what I want to do is the color, then I want this icon. So I'm just gonna do Ctrl V to paste them. Let's remove the down one, we keep this one. Next we have red. Here I will paste it and I will remove the up one. You just press OK and there you go, you get them.